Many of us want to study Vedanta but don't know where to start. Here is the answer to that question. Vedanta Vijnana course. It will take one text of Prakarana Grantha, few chapters of Bhagavad Gita and one Upanishad. A study of essential Vedanta to live a transformed life. This course will be taught by an exceptional teacher, Swami Advayananji, who is the resident Acharya for the ongoing Sandipani Vedanta course. And where are we studying? At the Sandipani Sadhanalaya, Powai, Mumbai. Every Sunday, 10:30 to 11:30. Come, learn, get inspired and transform your life. The course is also available online. You can be wherever you are and go through the entire course sincerely. Wish you all the best. Hari Om. Hari Om. Bhunama, you can start.
Hari Om, before we start today's talk, a small announcement. Those who wish to offer their Guru Dakshina to Vedji can do so at the link which will be posted on the chat, and it will be posted today and tomorrow. So please do, those wanting to offer your Dakshina can do so using this link. Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om, Vedji.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Can I request those who are on Zoom to start your videos if possible so that I can also see you? Yeah. Thank you. Shall we start? Oh. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Neelambuja Shyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahasayakacharuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvam Shanatham Atulitabaladhamam Hemashailaabhadeham Danujavanakrashanum Jnaninaamagraganyam Sakalagunanidhanam Vanaranamadhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Hari Om. So in the last session, we were seeing how this wonderful story of Bhagwan Sri Rama, which happened so many years ago, is also applicable in our everyday life, because there is a way by which we can connect the entire story to our life. So Adhyatma is spirituality. Adhyatma means what? That which pertains to oneself. Not pertaining to the world outside, but it pertains to oneself. My journey, my sadhana, etc. So Adhyatmika means what? Spiritual means what? My. What is mine? Now here, it is not a selfish my that we are talking about. It is how I can apply this story in my life. And therefore, we saw that the story outside is connected with certain facets of me. For example, Dasharath Maharaj is the king, is a person. But what am I connecting that to? Dasharath Maharaj is mind. Ayodhya is a place, but I am connecting it to my heart. This is called as spiritual significance. I hope now you are getting hang of it. Now, so yesterday we saw that Ayodhya is the place which is without any battle, without any conflict, which represents our heart, which has no conflict, no confusion. Dashrath Maharaj, who is ruling in Ayodhya, represents mind, which is ruling over the heart, and which has Dasharatha, which has control over the 10 horses or the 10 organs, 5 organs of perception and the 5 organs of action. This Dasharatha Maharaj, this mind is married to, is always united with 3 kinds of buddhi, 3 kinds of intellects. Kausalya is the intellect which is concerned with the welfare of all the people, and that which brings prosperity to everyone. Sumitra represents the intellect which is friendly with everyone, which is not arrogant and therefore separates oneself from everything. And third, Kaikeyi represents the intellect that has compassion. Later on, the same intellect will also have passion. Then what will happen, we will see today. But that is what this mind, which has control over the organs, plus the intellect, which is so beautifully well trained, together they rule over Ayodhya, our heart. And when that happens, then birth of Bhagavan Sri Rama happens. Sri Rama represents that pure self, which is the self in all. Same self which is self in all, that pure self is represented by Sri Rama. And when the Sri Rama has to take birth in our heart should also have certain qualities. And those virtues, those good qualities are represented by the 3 brothers of Sri Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. We saw yesterday, Lakshmanji represents the qualities of dispassion and service, Vairagya and Seva. Bharatji represents what? Bharatji represents the qualities of love and sacrifice, Prema and Tyaga. Prema and Tyaga. And last, Shatrughna ji, he represents the qualities of selflessness and humility. Selflessness and humility. Right? Niswarthata, selflessness. Humility, Vinaya. So these are the qualities when we develop, then what happens? Then Bhagavan takes birth. Means what? Then we realize our nature as that self. That self starts to shine. And through us, it starts shining in the world also. That is what happens. Then we entered into the story part of Ramayana and how different stories now are going to bring about different important aspects of our life which we have to learn. So first we saw was the story of Vishwamitra Rishi. Not the story of Vishwamitra Rishi means backstory of Vishwamitra Rishi, but when Vishwamitra Rishi comes and asks for help from Dasharath Maharaj, give me your sons who can protect my Yajna Yaga, and takes Sri Rama and Lakshmana to the forest, and that is where we saw the entire story, right? Where Bhagavan along with Lakshmanji goes and learns so many things from Vishwamitra Rishi, and then kills first Tataka also, and then while protecting the Yajna Yaga kills Subahu, and Maricha is sent very far. All those things also we saw. Now what do we learn from all these things? We said Vishwamitra Rishi represents Vishwamitra, one who is friend of all. And therefore what does he do? He brings this self who is inside always into the world for some good important actions, necessary actions. And what does he do? First, what is killed? Durasha is killed. Tataka represents Durasha. Durasha means false assumptions, wrong conceptions. We have lots of such things in our life. We go by that, and then we face a lot of problems because of them also. We saw in the last session, we think that money will buy happiness. We think that people are always good and they will be nice with me. Nothing like that happens. Then we say, oh, I never expected this from you. That is your problem. You never expected. That is not that person's problem. The person was always like this only. Oh, you have changed so much. Obviously, change is the changeless law. We still think that everything will be as it is. Never, nothing is as it is. So these false expectations that we have, these are the things that take us out. Take us out means what? Make us extrovert. We start seeking pleasure from the world outside. But killing this Durasha, killing this wrong misconception, false expectation, what will it do? It will make us understand where is that happiness. I'm searching for happiness, and I think if I have this thing, I will become happy. If I marry this person, I will become happy. If I am united with that person, I will become happy. If I keep away from this situation, I will become happy. All these wrong thinkings we have because we think that by changing something outside, I can become happy. But this false expectation is killed, and then we realize that nothing needs to be changed outside. Only inside I need to change something. Once I change that little thing inside, whatever may be the situation outside, I may be with whomever, whether the objects are there, comforts are there or not, I can still be happy. This is when a person becomes Adhyatmika. When does a person become spiritual? Very important question. What spirituality, people think that, oh, Vedji, I go to temple every day. I am a very spiritual person. Going to temple every day is a good thing. But that will make you a religious person, not a spiritual person. Why? By going to temple, what do you do? That is the question that needs to be asked. That will decide whether you are a spiritual person or not. What is the definition of a spiritual person? One who finds the problems within and tries to find the solutions within. That is a spiritual person. Whatever may be the situation, if the person turns within, then he is spiritual. Adhyatma, no, it has to pertain to myself. Otherwise, the person will be Laukika, worldly person. Oh, I am suffering because of this person. He did like this. He scolded me, and that I did not get. Therefore, as long as you are going to tell that because of something outside you are unhappy, you are no more spiritual. You are not spiritual. When you say that, oh, actually, my mistake. Actually, I did not do this properly. Therefore, it is like this. Let me correct it. When I start to find problems inside me and start to create that kind of environment where I'll be able to resolve those problems within me, that is when a person becomes spiritual. A person has become spiritual doesn't mean he has become perfect or she has become perfect. No. But at least the person is trying in the right direction. When you look in the mirror and you think that something has, some black dot or something has happened to your face, do you clean the mirror or do you clean your face? Think about it. Mirror is only showing you what is wrong with you. Now what happens with us is, we look at the world, we think something, and then we start shouting at the world, oh, this should be like this. And it's randomly. We go to some place where we have nothing to do. We are just visiting that place, but we want to change things there also. Everywhere we go, we want to change everything. Restaurant we go to eat, and there we give suggestion how to cook. Arre, if you know so much, cook at home and eat. Wherever we go, we want to change everything outside. You know, Veji, you know, when your website, etc. opens, no, this is not right. Don't come. Who has asked you? You understand my point. If you are giving suggestions for a website, it is good only. It will help us improve. That's not the point. But the point is, what can I say? That insatiable, that uncontrollable urge is there to control everything and to change everything. True or not? Now in India, everywhere election feeling is going on. Now what? We want everything like this. This should be like this. This should. Arre Baba, you do your job now. Why are you shouting so much? And most of the times, the people who shout, no, they don't even give votes. You don't vote, and in 5 years you keep shouting government is like this. What is the point? You have elected the government. You are not making your part of changing the government or keeping the good government, whatever you think is. And then you say that, no, it is all waste. And then what is the point? When we start to turn within, when we understand that there is something that I need to change here, then the whole thing becomes spiritual. We have to keep looking at our mind and what kind of suggestions the mind is giving. Once, I was sitting with Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, and you see, always a learning when you are with Mahatmas, no? So I was sitting and somebody came and said, Guruji, I have one suggestion. So Guruji said, oh, you have suggestion? Do one thing. Either give 5 years of your life or keep 1 lakh rupee check and then give your suggestion. Why? Because suggestion anybody can give. You know, in Chinmay Mission, we should have 100 schools. Okay, and who will run those 100 schools? Suggestion giving is not a problem. No? So either you commit that there is a suggestion that I want to do. You commit to the project. Or you support the project. Then give suggestion. Think about it. Most of the times our suggestions are such where we don't want to be involved. We just want to give suggestion and run away from that situation. And such suggestion is of no use. We have suggestions for Indian cricket team also, how they should play. We have suggestions for actors and directors, how they should make movies. We have suggestions for everyone. As long as we are going to go like this, we will remain worldly. A spiritual person makes adjustments within. So first important thing that Bhagavan Sri Rama, destroys is this Tataka, and that is that false misconception or false expectations, wrong notions that we have, right? When that happens through the wrong notions, now what all things are born? 2 things are born. One is the vices, doshas, and another is dukkha, sorrow. Obviously, if you think money is going to buy happiness, then you will use all the adharmic methods to earn money. So automatically dosha will be there. Automatically vices will be there, negative tendencies will be there. And what will it result into? It will result into sorrow. So these 2 things are represented by the 2 sons of Tataka, Maricha and Subahu. And we saw what Bhagavan Sri Rama does. He does not kill Maricha. He turns him into a disciple, into a devotee, into a bhakta. So vices are to be turned into virtues. Negative tendencies should be turned towards positive tendencies. How will that happen? By applying them to God. If you are angry, be angry at God. If you are attached, be attached to God. If you are jealous, have that jealousy directed towards God. Every negative emotion, when it is directed towards God, becomes positive emotion. If you want to fight, fight with God. Why? Nobody in the world is worth fighting, why unnecessarily waste your time in that? Turn the vices into virtues. And then sorrow, what to do with it? Kill it, destroy it, Subahu. see the name also, Subahu, one who has got very strong arms. Means what? Dukkha, when it starts to punch, one from this side, one from that side, by the time you recover from one sorrow, another sorrow has come. Then you recover from that, by the time third sorrow has come. And then you say, what is this? All sorrows are coming together. Arey, that is how life is. That is how life is. So fight with it, kill it. Right? That is what we have learnt. So Bhagavan Shri Rama there kills the demons who are trying to disturb Yajna. Yajna represents worship. These are all the negativities that are disturbing my sadhana. When you destroy these disturbances, obstacles, then your worship becomes fruitful. It gives its result. What is the result? We will soon find what is the result. Then what? The story goes forward. After protection of Yajna, his work there is over. But Vishwamitra Rishi has received invitation from Mithila Naresh, from the king of Mithila, Videharaj. And then they start going towards Mithila. On the way, the story of Ahalya comes. Very, very, very beautiful story. And very, what we can say as misunderstood story also. See, that's a little clarification here. Let me give and then we will go forward. Ahalya story is well known, and we have seen that Ahalya, the Pativrata Stri, is a very, very, pious lady married to Gautama Rishi, and she does one mistake when Indra comes in the disguise of her husband Gautama Rishi, and then she, she is with that Indra now, and Gautama Rishi comes back and mistake is understood. And often people have this kind of narrative that they say that, you see, always women are targeted. Why? Because both of them did wrong. Indra also did wrong, Ahalya also did wrong, but Gautama Rishi only cursed Ahalya. That is generally the narrative that I hear from so many people, but that's not true. Gautama Rishi is not cursing Indra, but Indra got cursed for that particular act of his, and he had to face a lot of difficulties. You go to the original Ramayana, you will understand. Gautama Rishi curses Ahalya because she is his. You always want to protect people who are yours. You always want to discipline people who are yours. A mother always punishes her child, not neighbor's child. Even though both of them were involved in some mischief that they have done, mother will punish her child, father will punish his child. And also with this, one very, very important concept we need to understand from Purana and Itihasa. In Purana and Itihasa, you will hear many stories where the rishis, etc., are getting angry and giving curse. And many times you will hear that Brahmaji and Lord Shiva and Vishnu Bhagavan also sometimes becomes pleased and gives boons. Rishis also gives boons. Now here comes a very important secret. What secret? In Puranas and Itihasas, every boon is a curse. And every curse is a boon. Vedji, what are you saying? Yes. You see and analyze the story. Every boon that has gone to a wrong person has resulted into destruction, has resulted into more and more problems. On the contrary, a curse has become a boon. I'll just give you simple examples for you to understand. We see in the story of Mahabharata, Kunti, Pritha. Kunti serves Durvasa Rishi very well, who has come as guest, and therefore gets boon from Durvasa Rishi. Now understand that Durvasa Rishi is known for his anger and therefore has given lots of curses to so many people. But here is one occasion when he gives boon to Kunti. Yeah, where he says that, you will get very powerful sons and you can invoke any deity, and from that deity you will have a son. This is the boon. What did it result into? It resulted into Karna being born before marriage, Karna suffering, becoming cause for so many problems later on. It became a cause for Kunti's suffering. Correct or no? And here you see a curse is actually a boon. Let us understand. What is the curse that is given to Ahalya? Now, again, that also one more clarification is required. Curse generally we say is Gautam Rishi said that Ahalya, you become stone. Okay. Now, in the original Ramayana, in the Valmiki Ramayana, such thing is not there that Ahalya has become stone or anything. Okay. Let me clarify that first. In the original Ramayana, that story is not like that. She is staying there, yes, in that same place, and she is at one place, not doing anything, and waiting for Bhagavan Sri Rama. And when Bhagavan Sri Rama enters into that, he doesn't even have to touch her with his feet. The moment he enters into that entire place, she becomes Papa Mukta. She becomes free from the curse and comes and prostrates to Bhagavan and meets Bhagavan also. But the other story is also not bad, which is there in so many other Ramayanas, where it is said that Ahalya becomes stone. And when Bhagavan's feet touch that stone, because of the dirt of his feet, it purifies, and Ahalya comes back to her original state of a lady. Now, think about it, okay? Think from the perspective of Ahalya. Ahalya is a very, very pious wife and always follows dharma. But because of something, some temptation, something, she has made one mistake. Okay? Now, Indra represents mind. In all the Puranic stories, Indra represents mind. Indra is the deity of the mind, right? And that is why in Puranas, etc., you must have heard, whenever anybody is doing any tapasarya, Indra feels insecure. And Indra starts to put a lot of troubles. Have you read all these things? Why? Because Indra is mind. You are doing tapasarya means what? You are trying to win over your mind. So automatically, it's natural that Indra will feel insecure and therefore will create so many obstacles. Mind creates all those obstacles, no? Temptation and anger and all these things. So Indra represents that mind which is naturally capable of distractions and temptations, etc. Now, when this mind comes and tempts the intellect, Ahalya now is at intellect, but what kind of intellect? Earlier, Ahalya is a kind of intellect that succumbs to the temptations of the mind. As long as intellect is very strong and firm, mind can't do anything. See, mind wants to do this, that. But if the intellect says, no, it is wrong to do that, no, I'm not coming. No, we are not going there. No, that is not happening. Then automatically the mind is, with that intellect doesn't go out. But when intellect joins, intellect succumbs to that temptation, then together mind and intellect go out in the world and they seek outside pleasure, lust and all these things. Now remember, Ahalya actually is a pious lady, has made one mistake. The moment she realizes her mistake, imagine the kind of guilt she will be in. And if something is not done, she will remain in guilt throughout her life. See, Among all the emotions that we have, one emotion that is most difficult to come out of is guilt. Interestingly, the other example that we saw of Kunti also has same thing. She is very, very strong lady. She has done so many things and, raised such brilliant children, but that guilt keeps troubling her throughout her life. Guilt is very difficult to get over with or come out of. And therefore, what is the curse? The curse is become stone. Become stone means actually it is a boon that Gautama Rishi gives to Ahalya, that your mind will not be able to think about anything. It will become like a stone. Stone means what? That which cannot move. Otherwise, it was Indra, no, whose mind was taking you everywhere. Distractions outside, this, that. Mind is jumping from here and there. No. Mind will be at one place. And then, as a blessing, what is given? This will happen till the time Bhagwan Sri Rama, avatar of Vishnu, comes here. Now what? The mind is like a stone which can't think of anything and therefore has no guilt now. Has no guilt in means what? Can't revel in that guilt. Can't remain in that guilt. And then what? Then is focused on Sri Rama. One day Sri Rama will come, Sri Rama will come, Sri Rama will come. This is blessing to Ahalya, where her mind becomes free of the guilt of the past and remains focused on the name of Bhagwan, on Bhagwan for that matter, and therefore she gets the blessing of Bhagwan actually coming there. And this is the result of tapasya. Now tapasya means what? You have focused your mind out of all the negativities, you have taken them out and focused on Bhagwan. The result is you will have darshan of Bhagwan. You understand? So actually the curse is a blessing. Who can do this? Only Guru can do this. Gautama Rishi here is the Guru. See, interestingly, Guru gets angry on the intellect, not on mind. Guru gets angry on the intellect, not on the mind. Why? Because Guru says that's the nature of the mind. Intellect, you should understand. See, when you have two children, one is naughty, another is the elder one generally who is supposed to be wise. And when together they do wrong, you scold the elder son or elder child more. Why? You say, you should have understood. That fellow doesn't understand. We know that how that naughty fellow is. You should have understood. Hey, is that happens or not? It's not that the love is less or no, that's not the point. Point is that's the nature of Indra, that's the nature of mind. There's no point in getting angry over that. Intellect should understand whether to succumb to that temptation and go out with that mind or not. Right? So this is what we learn. Whenever temptations come, if we go out, we are going to suffer. As long as we are following the path of dharma, what is good, what is right, we will be safe and secured. And if in case, by mistake, a wrong thing happens from our hand, none of us are perfect. None of us, can claim that I have never done anything wrong in my life. None of us can do that. The best thing to do is accept your mistake and go through the prayaschitta. Go through the necessary result of that wrong action. Ahalya never said that I did not do. No, she accepted her mistake. And therefore what happened? Her entire forward process or uplifting started from that moment. We all at some point of time will commit a grave mistake in our life. Please at such times surrender unto Guru. Do exactly what the Guru is telling and we will be out of it. Right? That is what we learn from the story of Ahalya. As I said, very, very beautiful story and misunderstood also. Then what happens? Then very beautiful thing happens. Bhagwan Sri Rama, after doing the uddhara of Ahalyaji, Ahalya Shila Raghave Mukta Keli, Padi Lagata Divya Ho Nigeli. Samartha Ramdas Swami writes that this Ahalya Shah, who was like a stone, was freed by Bhagavan Shri Ram. And just by the touch of his feet, she became divine. Then Bhagavan Shri Rama, Lakshmana also, along with Vishwamitra Rishi, they go to the Mithila. Mithila is the city where Janak Maharaj is ruling, and Janak Maharaj's daughter Sita ji Swayamvara is going on. Now again here little bit of difference is there, but we are not focusing on the story part. So some in the original Ramayana there is no event as such. Swayamvara is not an event in the Valmiki Ramayana. Swayamvara means what? There is a challenge that is kept, that whoever lifts this Shiva Dhanushya which is there and strings it will become eligible to marry Sita ji. Okay, not that he will be able to marry Sita ji. The decision lies with the lady always. Sita ji has to choose whether she wants to get married or not, but that person will become eligible. And different princes, etc. used to come there, kings, they used to come there and try. No, it was not as an event. But in most of the other Ramayana, it is an event. Okay. Never mind, such small changes are fine in the story. Then what happens? Then there is one very beautiful episode before the marriage, which is not there in Valmiki Ramayana, of course, but it is there in Tulsi Ramayana and in other things. And I love that episode very well. They say evening before, so they reach by afternoon, and next day they are supposed to go and meet this Mithila, Naresh, etc. So Sri Rama and Lakshmana ask Vishwamitra Rishi, can we go out to see the city? We have come to a new city. We want to see how everything is, and what are the things that, because they are also finally going to become kings of their own city. So they should see how this city is being ruled and what all things are happening. So Lakshmana asks this, and then both of them, they go out, Sri Rama and Lakshmana, and they are roaming in this huge garden, very beautiful garden. And incidentally, Sita ji also, along with some of her friends, girls, she has come there to that garden because just next to that garden there is a Durga Devi Mandir. There is a temple of Durga, the Parvati, and so she wants to pray. So she comes there and prays, and she is returning back to her palace. What happens is, one of her friends sees Sri Rama and Lakshmana in that garden, and she immediately runs and tells all her friends, including Sita ji, that I saw two very handsome men. What to tell. Actually, when I heard this story from Guruji for the first time, that is when I realized that girls also talk all these things, not just boys. Because see, I come from a very small village near Pune, and when we were growing up, I am the only child. So I don't have sisters, brothers, etc. So I didn't know how the other side works. We knew how men are, how boys are. So I always thought, girls are very, very, perfect, and they don't do all this such kind. But only after the story, now I know. Now I become much wiser, and now I know. So there is a discussion that happens, and all the other friends of that friend who has seen are very inquisitive, and they want to say, please tell. Who are they, and how do they look? And she gives a very beautiful reply. I love that reply. That's why I love this story. The reply she gives is, she says, you see, it is very difficult to tell you, express and explain to you what is their beauty. Why? Because she says the eyes who have seen have no speech, have no words. And the mouth that is talking has not seen. What a beautiful thing. Now, what is so great? Bhagavan Sri Rama is that Parabrahma, no? Those great rishis, munis, jnanis who see Brahman, they say we have no words to express that Brahman. Why? Because it cannot be expressed. One who has seen Brahman doesn't remain of the world to explain to the world what the Brahman is. And those who are talking have actually not experienced Brahman. Isn't it true? Shankaracharya also and Vivek Chudamani makes this point very, very clear. He makes this point very, very clear. So Shastras, different rishis, when they speak of Brahman, they speak it in such a way that it cannot be explained. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyah. Ascharyavat chainam anya shrunoti. Shrutva api enam naveda kaschita. Ascharya. Everything is just a wonder. Similar, this is from Bhagavad Gita. Similar mantra is there in Kathopanishad also. It explains how this Brahman, Parabrahma is Ashcharya only. And the knower who comes to know and realizes that Brahman is also Ashcharya. And then later on he tries to explain it to other ignorant people, another Ashcharya. And another people, some people understand. That is also a wonder. And there are so many other people who listen but they don't understand anything. That is also a wonder. That's what the Shastra says. Everything about this Brahman is a wondrous thing. Never mind. The point is what? This is a story by the by I told. But then, that story is there in one of the Ramayanas. Then, of course, the main day happens when Bhagavan Sri Rama goes there and, lifts this Shiva Dhanusha and tries to put string on it, tries to string it, and in the process breaks the entire Shiva Dhanusha. And Sita ji, by one look, realizes who he is, and of course she is more than happy to marry him, and thus Sri Rama marries Sita ji. Sita ji's sister Urmila is married to Lakshmana, and both of their cousin sisters, Janak Maharaj's brother's daughters, Mandavi and Shrutakirti, they both are married to Bharata and Shatrughna respectively. So now there only Sri Ram and Lakshmana are there, right? So all the people from Ayodhya, they go there for the marriage, and all the four children, all the four sons of Dashrath Maharaj get married to these four daughters of Janak Maharaj and his brother. Okay, that is the story. Now what? Now spiritual significance. Sri Rama represents that self. Sita ji represents Shanti, peace. That ultimate supreme peace, which is of the nature of bliss, Parashanti. Now, in order for the self to experience this peace or to be united with this peace, he has to complete one challenge. And the challenge is to string the bow of Shiva, Lord Shiva's bow, Shiva Dhanusha. This Shiva Dhanusha is explained in most of the see now how the words are, how the play of the word is. Shiva Dhanusha, another name for Shiva Dhanusha is Bhava Chapa. Bhava Chapa. Have you heard this word before? Yeah, Tulsidas ji in that Stuti also is there, Bhava Chapa. Chapa means Dhanusha. And one of the names of Bhagavan Lord Shiva is Bhava. Bhavaya Devaya Namaha. So Lord Shiva's Dhanusha is called as Bhava Chapa. But now that same word Bhava Chapa has another meaning. Why? Because Bhava also means samsara. Bhava means to be, to keep becoming something or the other. So unless this samsara chapa, this samsara samudra, this challenge is crossed, unless you control the whole thing and string it, the self will not be united with the peace. And Bhagavan does not just string the bow, but he breaks the bow. That's Bhagavan. So this Shiva Dhanusha represents this samsara. Only when you cross this ocean of samsara can you be united with peace, Shanti. Or in other way, if you look at it, this Bhava Sagar or Dhanusha, Shiva Dhanusha, is compared with Ahankara, ego, which needs to be strung, which needs to be controlled, eventually broken also, to be united with that supreme peace. Okay, Bhagavan does it and gets united with Sita ji. Okay, that is another very, very beautiful story that we all know. Then what happens? Then the story continues, and all four of them, along with their wives, now they return back to Ayodhya. We have in between the episode of Parshurama also coming there and asking why, because he is the one who has given Shivadhanushya to Janak Maharaj. When he comes to know that somebody has broken, he has to go and check who broke. Is it a mistake? But when he realizes that it is Bhagavan Vishnu's avatar who has broken, he tests also by giving him Vishnu's Dhanushya. And then Sri Rama strings that also, right? And then Parshurama story is over, and then four now newly married couples, they return to Ayodhya and they live happily for 12 years. It is said wonderfully. We saw in the last session also how Kaikeyi gives her own palace of gold, made up of gold, to Sri Rama and Sitaji. And all the others are also living so happily, beautifully. Now what happens? Dasharath Maharaj starts to think that I have become old. He has become old, not starts to think, he is quite old. Even when he had children only, he was old. So he waited for a long time, no? And then only Putraka Meti Yajna. But then he realizes that it is time for my retirement, and therefore he checks among all the four sons of his who is the best suited for the role of a king, and then consults with all the ministers and comes to a decision that Sri Rama should become king. When all these things are happening, Bharata and Shatrughna have gone to their mama's place, their maternal uncle's place. Kaikeyi is from Afghanistan. Okay, means present day Afghanistan. Okay, don't take it like this, but she is from that area, which was part of Akhanda Bharat, no, at that time. So they have gone to Kaikeyi's brother's house, both of them, Bharata and Shatrughna. So they are not in Ayodhya, and this whole discussion happens, and he says that I can't wait because I have a feeling that I am going to die. Dasharath Maharaj says, therefore he starts to make all the arrangements for making Bhagavan Sri Rama as the king. And in the meantime, you know what the story happens. Manthara is the Dasi servant that has come with Kaikeyi since her marriage to Dasharath Maharaj and staying there. She is the one who has raised Manthara. Manthara is the one who has raised Kaikeyi also. And she goes there and, spoils Kaikeyi's mind. And if you really see, it's a beautiful, entire episode is very beautiful. What all arguments she gives. Because as long as when she tells that, do you know, there is a conspiracy going on and Sri Rama, they have decided to make as king, etc. Kaikeyi is very happy. She says, I am on the moon, and she gives her all the ornaments to Manthara, saying that what a great news you have given me. Why? Because we have already seen her love for Sri Rama and Sita is extreme. But then Manthara understands that, this girl is not understanding. So she says, Kaikeyi, this Sri Rama will become king. That is not a problem. He's a good man. But you know what will happen? Kausalya will get prominence because it is Kausalya's son who is becoming. So you see, typical women mentality. Women mind is always jealous of another woman. Not very much for the man. That's okay. They know how to deal with it. I am not criticizing or anything. Please don't misunderstand me. I am saying this is how the mind works. We are always jealous of someone who has some similarity with us. Same thing works for men also. We always have competition with somebody whom we think equal to us. And then we don't want them to proceed further or progress. So when Manthara gives this angle of Kausalya, then she says something needs to be done. And then we know what happens. She asks for those two boons which Dasharath Maharaj has given long back. And she says, by these two boons, Bharata should become king, not Sri Rama, and Sri Rama should go to forest. Now, what is the spiritual significance of this? Kaikeyi, we said, is an intellect with very interesting contradiction of compassion and passion. Manthara, you see the word itself, Manthara means mandam chalati, one who walks very slow. And that's why in Ramayana, etc. also sometimes she is shown as a deformed lady who can't walk straight. and therefore is a crooked one. Literally also, physically also crooked, and mind also is crooked. This mantra represents gossip monging. You know this gossip mongers? Gossip mongers means those who want to know everything about everyone, and they want to have all the kind of chit chat, etc. Gossips, gossip mongers. Now, such mind mantra, when starts to influence the intellect, which already has passion, that passion side of the intellect is not exposed so far. The compassion side is exposed so far, but now the passion side gets exposed. And then what? When that intellect is not vigilant, then it slips into insecurity. Insecurity turns into fear. Fear turns into jealousy. And such a jealous mind will do everything for oneself, will not consider anybody's interest, and will take decisions according to oneself. This is what happens in the mind and intellect. When we listen to all kinds of nonsense of people, we get influenced by all these things, then we formed wrong opinions. Imagine Kaikeyi, who has such great love for Sri Rama, who cannot even think bad about him, sends him in forest. Very, very impossible like thing is done, because the buddhi, the intellect, has become influenced by this mind which is in gossip monging. That is what is represented by this entire story. So what do we learn from the story? Don't be like Manthara. Don't get involved with too much of gossips and influence your intellect. Don't be like Kaikeyi also, who succumbs to all these insecurity, jealousy, etc. Also, what we must learn is, don't be like Dashrath Maharaj. What did Dashrath Maharaj do? Because he was happy, he promised 2 boons. That became the cause for downfall. You see, again, boon becoming a problem. They always say one very nice thing: never promise anything when you are happy, never decide anything when you are angry. These 2 things we should always remember. Never promise something when you are happy. Why? Because in that happiness, you will promise something which is beyond your capacity to give. And giving boons, etc., and promising things are very, 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 what can I say? Illogical. Because who are we to promise anything? Who are we to give boons to anybody? Are we that powerful? No. Therefore, always when anybody asks, we say, if God wishes, we will do it. Why? Finally, everything is in his hand. But Dashrath Maharaj was so happy, and he thought that you asked, I will give you 2 boons. And then his attachment to Kaikeyi is also so much that he can't refuse now. So we should not be like Manthara, we should not be like Kaikeyi, we should not be like Dashrath Maharaj also. Then how we should be? We should be like Bhagavan Shri Ram. We know the story when Shri Ram, Bhagavan hears about this. Very, very, emotional scene is there, where, Dashrath Maharaj is crying. What kind of lady you are. Anger stage also has gone. And then he is literally crying. And it is early morning of Bhagwan's Rajyabhisheka, 3:30, 4 o'clock, etc. And in that Kopa Bhavana, in that room in the palace where she gets angry and she goes there, Kaikeyi, she's sitting there. Dashrath Maharaj is, crying, and Sri Rama is brought into that place. He doesn't understand what is happening suddenly, because he thought that he has to become king. And when he listens to the whole thing, what a beautiful thing he goes. He goes and tells to Kaikeyi that, mother, why did you do this? Huh? What do you mean, why did you do this? I'm not saying why did you ask for this. You could have asked to me directly. I would have gone. Why did you waste 2 boons for this? And then in the process, you made my father sad because now he has to take decision for my going to forest. You could have directly asked me, I would have, given up my throne and I would have gone to forest. Look at that. Imagine if we would have been in our, Sri Rama's place. Imagine one day you are told that you are going to become emperor of the entire land, and next day you are told, no, you are not becoming king. Forget about becoming king. You are leaving the palace, leaving the capital, and you are going to live in the forest. We would have gotten so angry. He doesn't get angry. He goes and tells Kaikeyi this. Why did you, waste your 2 boons? You could have directly ordered me. I would have gone. He goes and tells Dashrath Maharaj, don't despair. You are not doing anything wrong. You follow the course of action now. Don't feel bad that you are sending me anywhere. No, I am going. And then the same person goes to Kausalya, and Kausalya Mata mother is also so happy that my son is going to become king. But when she sees him, and he says that, mother, my father has given me kingdom of the forest. That is what he says. You read Tulsi Ramayana, Pita Dinna Moi Kanana Raju. That's what he says. We would have gone to our mother and would have said that, your husband has become mad. He's sending me to forest. Please deal with him. Sri Rama did not do anything like this. He happily accepted. He did not even think twice. And then we see the episode where everybody is trying to convince Sri Rama that you don't have to go. Later on also, when Bharata goes and asks him to come back, everybody is trying to convince Sri Rama, you should not go. Bhagavan says, nothing doing. Stick to dharma. We have given word, we have to follow that word. I have to follow the word of my father. This is where a very beautiful concept is there, which Pujya Guruji always highlights. He says, Bhagavan Sri Rama, why is he so famous? Why do we consider him Purushottama? Perfect person. Why? Because not just that he followed dharma, but he raised the standard of dharma. It's a very important point. Interestingly, in Valmiki Ramayana, this Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma, this very famous line that Sri Rama is righteousness personified. Righteousness has taken a body, has taken a form, and that is Sri Rama. This sentence is said by Maricha to Ravana, actually speaking, in the Valmiki Ramayana, where, Ravana goes to convince Maricha, etc. In the next episode that we will see. That is where he says, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Why Sri Rama is considered to be, ideal human being? Because he did not just follow dharma, but he raised the standard of dharma so much so that every person after that compares himself or compares dharma with Sri Rama. Even today we compare our righteousness, our governance to Sri Rama. Even when Shivaji Maharaj has to become king, his mother tells, become king like Sri Rama, tells him the stories of Sri Rama, wants him to become like Bhagavan Sri Rama. Very important point. Bhagavan did not just follow dharma, but Bhagavan raised the standard of dharma. And therefore, he happily accepts, and goes to the forest. And we know, of course, Sita ji and Lakshmana also accompany. Very, very, what kind of person, what kind of, people are all these things. This is what we have to learn from all these stories. It's nice to listen. Of course, the stories are so wonderful. That's the beauty of Ramayana. No? That's the beauty of Bhagavan's stories. Hundreds of times we have heard, but still we want to hear more and more. Any movie you have seen so many times? As much as time that you have heard the story of Ramayana? No. Why? That's the beauty of that life of Bhagavan. But now what? Now not just understanding the story, but learning from the story. Understanding that in this whole episode that happens in Ayodhya Kanda, where, don't be like Manthara, don't be like Kaikeyi, don't be like Dashrath Maharaj also, but be like Sri Rama. completely level-headed, stable, not becoming too happy because he is going to become king, not becoming too sad because he has to leave. No, he is very, very stable and doing what is right. Right is right even if nobody does it, and wrong is wrong even if everybody does it. We should in ourselves get that strength to do right when nobody else is doing it. When we do that, then we are following the path of Sri Rama. Then we are learning Ramayana. Ramayana is Bhagavan's path. The path that Bhagavan walked on, that is what we have to learn. No means no when situation is like that. No matter how many people are trying to convince you. Bhagavan says nothing doing. I am going to forest. Of course, there is a hidden Leela also is there. He has to meet all the people. He has to meet so many different people. Kevata, Bharata, Atri, Anusuya and Sutikshna and Shurpana. So many things are there. He has to kill so many people. All those things are there according to story. But what is right thing to do at that time should be done. So this is what we learn from this entire story. Now what? Now tomorrow we will see everything is happy, everything is nice, but then how the downfall starts and what must be done to again gain it. Okay? Sri Rama is going to be separated from Sita ji. And then all the efforts which are there to reunite both of them. This is the story of all of us, where Jiva is separated from his own nature and then puts all the efforts to regain it. So that's the beautiful story that we will be seeing tomorrow. And we will be concluding this 3-day session also. Tomorrow is of course the most auspicious day of Sri Rama Navami also. Please pray to Bhagavan. Please do your own sadhanas, during the day, puja, japa, chanting, whatever you do. And in the evening, we'll meet for this satsang. We'll reflect on this wonderful story and its culmination. All right. Chalo. Jai Shri Ram. We'll conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.